Hello and welcome to the very first broadcast on Men's Health TV during this Men's Health Week. I'm Glenn Poole from the Australian Men's Health Forum, and this is the Blokes Healthy Lunch. And joining us today, we have Carolyn and Sam from Mates in Construction. Good day, Carolyn and Sam.
Hi, Glenn.
G'day, Glenn. How you going? Hello, Carolyn.
And also coming up later on the channel, we have Darren Black from OzHelp Foundation. G'day, Darren.
G'day, Glenn.
Great to see you. Thanks for being here. So, for those of you who've been waiting since 12 noon for the launch, we're sorry. We had a few technical issues, but we're here now. And we've got three fantastic guests from two great organisations who are going to be talking about what they do to support men's health in the workplace. Just got a few notices about the channel you're tuning into. This is Men's Health TV. It's running throughout Men's Health Week. Why are we doing this? Some of you may have noticed there's been a bit of a pandemic going around, which means it's quite tough to get out and do health events in workplaces and in the community like normally happens during Men's Health Week. But we're still pushing ahead, and the theme of this year's Men's Health Week is working together. And one of the ways that we can all work together these days is by getting on Zoom, getting on Facebook, and connecting with people all over the country, which means that wherever you are today, whether you're at work, at home, pulling over in your car to have a look at what's going on Facebook, or whether you're watching later on at home with the kids, or out for a walk and you're sat on a bench and you're deciding to tune in and check your social media. It doesn't matter where you are, anywhere in the country, you can tune into a couple of great talks about men's health here on the Men's Health TV channel. And you can also share this channel, and please do so. Share this channel with the blokes in your lives, blokes in your family, blokes in your workplace, blokes in your community, anyone you know who you think would be interested in hearing more about what you can do to improve the lives and health of men and boys in Australia. And because it's the internet, anywhere in the world. So I'm going to stop now and hand over to some real experts in this area, two of the great organizations working in workplace health. We've got OzHelp Foundation, Darren Black coming up later. But first, I'm going to hand over to Carolyn and Sam from Mates in Construction. Thanks for being here. The floor's yours.
All right, thanks, Glenn, for that. Just as a quick intro for myself, I'm a case manager, field officer with Mates in New South Wales. I've been employed with them for over 7 years now, and I'm part of a team that delivers the Mates program, which is an award-winning program. We deliver it on construction sites and other workplaces. And when someone is really struggling in life, I'm generally the first point of call as a case manager if someone is an individual, needs extra options and availability of what resources are out there to assist to move in a more positive direction. So Mates' main focus is mental health wellbeing, with a key focus on suicide prevention. Mates helping mates, pretty much. And it makes sense to provide education and support to workers that are out in the field, like Sam is out in the field, so that they can save lives as first responders. And someone has participated in all our levels. Sam, we actually awarded him Mates Champion for 2018. Sam doesn't directly get paid from Mates in Construction. He's actually a volunteer, and he's got a passion to help others, and he's participated in all three levels of our training. So he's well equipped to deal with the individuals that are struggling, and I know he has done a lot of helping other people within his time, and we've just helped him and supported him in that fact. So I just want to introduce Sam, and Sam, can you just tell us a little bit about you and where you're from and how you've helped people?
G'day guys. My name's Sam. I work for a construction company called Construction, which pretty much I'm a health and safety representative for these guys. What's great about these guys is they put me through the training, and they've, anything that I'm passionate about, they open the passageway for me to do what I want to do in that aspect. Health and safety is important to me. I find that, being on the job, everyone looks at health and safety as more safety than health. After doing a few training sessions with Caroline and the group, I also concentrated on health, because we always look at safety, not health. Health being every individual's health, home problems, work problems, and just situations like that. So doing the 3 training courses with Caroline and their team has really opened my mind up to stuff beyond what happens on a construction site. So that's pretty much where I come from, my avenue of it. I'm also, as I said, I'm a construction worker, so I'm on the field with the guys, understanding and pretty much sending the message that we're there to listen.
Great. And when I've been on site with you, Sam, I know when you're at the airport sites, there's a lot of respect that the workers and management have for you. And how have you built that up? As the training sort of assist you with that at all, or what's the go with that?
I work for a very good company which really endorse safety and health and every aspect of that. I guess with relationships and then understanding myself and me understanding them, it's a trust thing which has helped a lot in working for WAPAC. And as I said, everything's just open for whatever I need to do. I'm open to that. And we work for a company which understands people have problems, and it all starts from the top and works its way down. So I think as a company, it's the top management, and it filters all the way down to where we are and be able to speak. Excellent.
I mean, you need the support from management from the top down, don't you, to implement, say, a program like we deliver. So if you can give us some sort of examples on how the training that we've provided you has assisted. Obviously, personal reason, we're not going to mention any names or anything like that, but I know when you were doing the assist, you were actually helping someone at that same time. So you not necessarily have to give that example, but give us an example on how the training has actually assisted you to help other people.
Well, the training has assisted me in knowledge, in getting to know, finding something a bit more than just working in construction. Actually getting to speak to people and people trusting you and opening up to you. Everyone wants to help. I'm guessing we're just humans, and everyone, if you can help, we're all willing to help. It's not just about the person, it's also about the person's son, the person's daughter, the family, the cousin, the long lost cousin. It's people come to you and they confide in you, and that's where I look at speaking to Caroline. And I think watching these guys, Caroline and the team work, I've just sort of, usually I've learned a philosophy in life that you follow someone that you embrace and see what they do, and then you own it. So I sort of live by that philosophy, and I watch you guys, how you conduct yourself, and I sort of follow that trend.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, and it's a really important point that you made, that you need to look at the whole picture, not just the worker that comes to work. There's a whole lot. There's a big puzzle. There's lots of pieces in that person's life. Friends, family, things going on in people's life. If you don't start that conversation, how you going, mate, and recognise if something is not going so well, you're not going to get that person to open up, are you?
Absolutely. It's so important to get someone's trust, to open up, and it's as little as asking, are you okay? There's always signs that you can see. You can, we see these guys more than we see our own family. We're with each other 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. So you know everyone's actions and how they work and what they do, and when they're upset and when they're not upset. And being through construction, seeing a lot of suicide happening, well, not on sites, but through site people, you start realising, hang on, this is a really big problem. We really need to do something with it.
Yeah. It definitely is, and most construction workers would find it hard, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Sam, but statistically, construction workers would find it hard to pick up a phone and make a call for help. They would rather talk to someone they trust and knows a little bit about this sort of stuff, or a bit of in regards to helping other people, they're more likely to talk to that person that has a bit of a heart and knowledge than just ringing up a helpline, which has way more knowledge. What do you reckon?
Absolutely. Construction workers, to a certain extent, maybe myself as well, we're cavemen. We need that interaction with humans to be able to talk face to face. I think that's where construction has been the last, from your bricklayers to your concreters. It's a different industry. It's more face to face than over the phone. We're not working through, anything like that. We're all face to face, so we really need to be speaking to someone to understand and to be able to help.
Yeah, spot on. And it's an industry that is changing daily. Like I go to sites on a regular basis, and each time I go to a same site, it changes. Even the lunch sheds have changed at times. And I guess this change for some people can be really tough. And the change at the moment is, will I have a job next week, tomorrow, next month, whatever? So it can be very, very volatile in that situation. Yeah. What you feel with that then, Sam?
Absolutely. It's a known sort of thing. In construction, you're pretty much just guaranteed the job that you're on at that time. With construction, it's up and down, and a company could have a lot of work, and then 6 months later, they've got nothing. So you've got to find other work. So it does. It puts a burden on yourself and your family, and that's where construction sort of has its downfall for people, and that's where you guys come in handy. When someone needs a chat or someone to have a talk to, they would come to myself, and then I'll sort of direct them through to you guys and see how serious it is. But yeah, absolutely. It's very important to have, this secondary sort of backup.
Yeah. So our job at Mates is to train you guys up, because you're the first responders. You're there. You can notice when someone's doing it tough. So it makes sense to give you some skills and education on what to look out for. It makes sense in any workplace, really, because someone is going to go and talk to you, being a well-respected guy and having some knowledge around this and knowing that you've got backup as support. So Sam, you're saving lives out there, and you probably don't even know it half the time, but you know that we're here as a backup. Mates in construction, we talk to people on a regular basis. As a case manager, I'm talking constantly with people, but we need people like you out there to actually get educated, and education is the key to stop suicides. And I think you're a prime example at doing that. So I want to encourage people out there as well, whoever's listening here, that if you are a construction worker, come and talk to us and see if we can get some training. What do you reckon, Sam?
Carolyn, your course is probably one of the best things I've ever done through my life. It's the most rewarding thing that I've ever done, and that's why I feel I'm so passionate about it and out there to seek to want to help. It's something that's so rewarding. It takes its toll on you as well. I'm not going to say it doesn't. It sort of does consume you, and you sort of learn how to deal with that through your training. I endorse anyone with half a heart to come out and do a training with you guys, because it's not just for work. Unfortunately, this suicide is around everywhere. It's not just at work. It's at home. It's your neighbour. It's your neighbour's sister. So to have them tools is unbelievable. It's like a chippy, not without a hammer. As a father, I'm a father of four young girls, and these tools I've got, I will take them to my grave. Basically, it's my tools to use on my kids and to make sure they're okay. So it's worth a lot more than what anyone thinks.
Yeah. That's brilliant, and it's so important. So I guess, Sam, in a way, we're privileged in our industry to be able to actually get this sort of education, because it's not, Mates in Construction haven't designed the courses, and we have the general awareness, but the connector and the assist are from an organisation called Living Works, which is the world's best practice in suicide prevention training. So we are privileged to have endorsed that at Mates. And we're privileged that in our whole industry to be able to get this sort of training. So we need buy-in by the industry as well, because we don't knock on doors and force people to do the training. So anyone listening to this, if you are a safety manager or safety coordinator like Sam, don't hesitate, because we lose a worker every second day to suicide in our industry, for sure.
Absolutely, guys. Just jump on and call Mates in Construction. Get them out there. The guys are awesome. They're very busy, but I've conducted a few sort of courses with Caroline and their group to come out on site and do a few for us. And not one person's walked out the door without just complete aura of what these guys do. And I always ask the question, how was it? And every reply is the same. It's unbelievable. It's a great thing to do. I want to do the assist. And so, you know, and I've done all 3 trainings, and the assist is pretty full on and a great thing to do. But I just keep endorsing people to go and train yourself up and give yourself life tools.
So Sam, that's saying to me that generally most people actually want to help other people. That's really, really fabulous that people in the industry, and I know other people in other industries want to help other people, but just don't know that first step. Yeah, no, that's great, because that's what's going to save lives. Together we can make a difference.
Absolutely. Construction is about a mate helping a mate with everything, not just within the suicide and the prevention. It's about everything. We look at helping a bloke pick up a heavy product. So in construction, there's always guys looking out for another guy. There's always a mate looking out for another mate. So it's probably the best way to conduct this, because there's always a person looking out for another person.
Yeah, that's great. And mates have a helpline as well, 24/7 available. It's a bit like Lifeline, but it's specifically for the construction industry and the immediate family. Look, we never knock anyone back, that's for sure, if anyone's in need. But it's available to make that phone call, and we're relatable to the industry, which is great. So look, I want to put it out there as well. Anyone on Facebook that's listening to this, that if somebody is struggling, please don't hesitate to make that call, have a chat, and together we can save lives. So if you are unsure about someone, and Sam's rung me directly on numerous occasions where he's been concerned about an individual on site, and just gaining a few extra tools on what to say, and even this can be in a text message sometimes. And I want to say to people, please don't hesitate to make that call, possibly even to help somebody else. We can't force help on people, but we can encourage. That's for sure. Yeah. So what have you been doing?
Absolutely. Saving.
Who have you helped lately, Sam?
It's been pretty good lately. I'm on a smaller project with less people. It's going to build up very soon. So, you know, knock on wood, everything's been pretty good. Well, we're going to get you guys out as soon as we can here when we get a few more people, just to do the same sort of training that you guys do. I've spoken to a few people on site already, and everyone's very keen. Everyone's heard of you guys, but they would love to do the training. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys.
Yeah. It's good to have presence on site and hanging out on sites and rubbing shoulders with construction workers that are out there and just having a chat. You just never know, that one chat that anybody can have. It doesn't have to be from us at Mates. You can save a life just by having a chat and giving resources.
Caroline, I think you would know, Caroline. When you come out to site to have a chat to guys, everyone's just staring at you guys, concentrating and just really listening. And I think from a few times that you've come out to have a bit of a chat to the guys, you would have had 2 or 3 people come up to you after it and say, I've got a problem, I've got an issue. So you guys coming out to site and doing these chats and doing these trainings are saving lives there as well, which is great to see. It's yes, we have an obligation and a job to do, but you guys are really jumping on board and helping the whole construction save lives in construction, basically.
Yeah. And how do you think that's helped with safety on sites then, as a whole, Sam?
Look, safety costs money, and money is what makes the world go around. What's good about that is, and I think you touched on the point where I have respect off management, It's because we've got this. People respect that you're helping each other out, which then carries on to safety, which you get to do whatever you want with safety, and you get to spend what you want with safety, which is excellent. So yeah, this has helped safety on site. It's helped safety at home. Safety, it's excellent. Absolutely.
Intermingles with your physical safety as well. There's always been a big focus on. There's always been a big focus on construction sites in regards to the physical safety of individuals. It's a dangerous environment, so rightly so. So the mental health focus that intermingles with the physical health then?
Absolutely, yeah, of course. When someone's happy and no mental health or having any stress in any sort of way or suicide thoughts, well, obviously, they're sleeping better and safety is on the job. Yeah, it's a very big, important thing, that one. Absolutely.
And you just mentioned sleep. People disregard that as being important, but let me tell you, sleep and a decent diet and getting enough sleep, obviously, and a good diet and a bit of a balance with stress and home life, so important. I know I've had a case that he attempted suicide because he just hadn't slept well for 4 weeks and going through relationship problems and stuff like that. So we can't dismiss the fact that sleep is so important. We can't focus properly if we don't get that a good night's sleep. Makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely, Caroline, and that's what we're talking about. When someone's stressed and has thoughts, they won't sleep, and they have other things on their mind, which touches back to safety on site and looking after your mate. And that's another one. When you see someone tired, maybe ask the question and go forward that way. Because one thing I've learnt through your training is that anything that seems out of the ordinary, you always ask the question, are you okay?
Yeah.
Which I think the slogan is, are you okay? And I live by that slogan.
Yeah, and it's good to expand on that. So what's going on for you, mate? Yeah, that sort of stuff. Expand, if people are,
Absolutely.
Some people are reluctant to talk, obviously. But what I say in the training is every conversation you have is important to build up that trust, which when you think about it, it really is. As human beings, we are building our trust, whether we consciously are doing it or subconsciously. We're building up trust in other people that we possibly might talk to later on. We're just not aware of it at the time.
Absolutely. At the start, it's always, "G'day, mate, how you going?" And then later on, we break it down to actually having a chat to that particular person about any issues that they have and how we can help them. And that's happened to me throughout everyone that I've sort of helped through mates, and that's how it starts. It's, "How are you going?" They're a bit standoffish and you're a bit standoffish as well, until you find that they can talk to you, and then it's sort of the wheels are in motion.
Yeah. And it's just a reminder to everyone that we all know there's Are You OK Day, and that's really important to have an actual day, but I promote that you should be doing that every single day. And I think people like Sam really do that well, where you're on the alert, you're alert to ask people, are you okay, every single day, 365 days a year, not just one day a year. So thanks Sam. We need to wrap it up here, and I thank you for your time today and getting all the technical issues sorted. That's fabulous. And I want to just promote people, if they're doing it tough or know someone doing it tough, please don't hesitate to ring our 24/7 helpline. It's 1300 642 111. It's manned 24/7 for anyone in the industry and their immediate family if they need some help or you need some more tools to help somebody else. And Sam in the industry, he's done that many times. Yeah. Thanks, Sam, for your time, and I'll chat to you again this week.
Thank you very much, guys. And once again, please get as many people as you guys can to join mates and do the training course. It's very worthwhile. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Great. Thanks, Carolyn, for being here. Thanks, Sam. It's been awesome hearing about your experience. I even saw you managed to get sort of someone coming in the background there, and you carried on going. You're a true professional, Sam. If you ever get bored of construction, I reckon you've got a job waiting for you in the world of TV.
No worries. Thank you.
Great work.
Thanks, guys.
So we'll say, just a reminder then, Carolyn, that number, or where people can find more information about Mates in Construction. Can you just do that for us?
1300 642 111.
Great.
And we've got a website as well that you can visit. Yep.
A quick Google or search engine for Mates in Construction will no doubt get you there.
Absolutely. Yep.
And not just construction these days.
We've rolled out to Mates in Mining, and that's going along quite okay. And Mates in Energy up in Queensland, we're hoping to get it up and running in New South Wales, but that's a bit of a process. But yes, our program is actually very attractive to many industries. So it just takes a bit of time and money to get it up and running, obviously. So it's a program that works, and a lot of industries realise that and want to do along similar lines or endorse our program. Yeah.
That's great. Of course, the skills that you're teaching and the principle of looking out for your mates isn't just about construction and mining and energy. It's about every workplace. It's about every community. It's about every family, and it's shifting the conversation from how do we get more men to get help to actually thinking about how do we get more blokes to actually give help and look out for their mates. And what I've heard and understood and learned over the years, that process of teaching blokes how to look out for the mates also builds our own awareness of how to look after ourselves. And it really builds on that sort of that strength of mateship. It's a real positive of Aussie masculinity, the idea of mateship and looking out for your mates. And I know when my missus and I were traveling around Australia in a motorhome, and we headed like innocent fools across the Gulf Savannah and over the Northern Territory, and started to have blowouts on our van every few hundred Ks, that whenever something happened, in a few minutes there was a bloke there to pull over and help out. And that spirit of helping each other out, mateship, is what it's all about, right? And that's all you're just building on that kind of that willingness to look out for and support and protect your mates by giving a few skills. Because if your mate had a blowout, if he needed a tire fixing or needed something shifting, you'd be there straight away. And what all you guys are saying is same thing applies to mental health. If your mate's doing it tough, help out, and here's how you do it.
100%.
Great. It's great work you're doing, Carolyn, and all the guys and gals at Mates in Construction. I'll leave you to get back to the important work you do.
Great.
We're going to go now to thanks, Carolyn. Thanks, Sam. And we're going to continue with the Men in the Workplace theme by moving now to our next guest, Darren Black from the OzHelp Foundation. Darren, thanks for being here.
Thanks very much for having us, Glenn.
Now, you're really welcome. And you're another organisation based in Canberra, but doing work all around the country, I understand. Based on workplaces, but not just construction and mining and energy. You're reaching out into some other sectors as well. But I'm going to leave you to talk about the work you do and share whatever it is you've come to share today with the blokes watching today on the Blokes Healthy Lunch box as part of Men's Health TV. Just to remind you, this is Men's Health Week, and we're broadcasting talks and conversations and information that's of interest to men and men's health throughout the week. And I'm going to hand over now to Darren Black of the OzHelp Foundation, who's our final guest today on Blokes Healthy Lunchbox.
Thanks very much, Glenn. And look, I hope there are many men watching today, as well as hopefully women as well, because at the end of the day, we need everyone in our community to be aware of the issues around men's health and well-being, and ultimately what keeps us well in our society and our communities. Glenn, I'd like to start just by acknowledging the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we meet today, of the first peoples of the nation, I'm conscious that there'll be people watching from all over the country, but for me today, I meet with you on the land of the Ngunnawal people here in Canberra. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. I'd love to kick off today just with some questions, I guess, to set the scene for this conversation. Why is it that we are talking about men's health? Why is this such an important conversation? Some really significant facts that go to inform that. For instance, men have a significantly lower life expectancy in Australia than women by 5 or 6 years. We also know that with respect to suicide statistics, men are 3 times more likely to take their own lives than women. Men also have significantly higher rates of workplace injury and accident than do women. 1 in 8 men through their lifetime will experience depression, and 1 in 5 approximately will experience anxiety as mental health conditions in their lifetime. And importantly, and of course, men typically have lower rates of what we call help-seeking behaviour. And we know this is problematic in terms of men seeking help and getting the support they need if they are not doing okay. And I'm probably going to pick up on some of the themes that Carolyn and Sam mentioned just in the segment before around the importance of seeking help, reaching out, asking, are you okay? But there's some key facts, I guess, in the background that inform the conversation. Why is it so important that we're talking about men's health? And how important is it for the health of men? And this is where OzHelp tends to try to focus on what keeps men well. What are the protective factors that we know help keep men healthy and well? How important, for instance, is it for men to have positive relationships with their family and their friends and their work colleagues? Positive relationships. How important is it for men to work and to be gainfully employed? How important is it for men to stay active and to keep exercising through their lives? How important is sleep and nutrition to the maintenance of men's health and well-being? And how important is it for men to be able to seek help and also to be able to give help? And there's a few questions that really go to the core of the approach to what keeps men healthy and happy, and tends to be at the centre of the approach that OzHelp takes with the industries that we work with and serve and support nationally. And they include construction as well, very, very strongly focused in construction, which is where we began, like mates in construction, also in mining, but we also today work with farmers, truck drivers, emergency services workers, but predominantly the workforces that we work in have got 80% plus male workforces. So there's a few factors or questions that I think it's really important for us to ponder on. What keeps men well? What keeps them healthy? What are those protective factors? And that's where OzHelp focuses. Our approach is preventive in nature. We're not a crisis response organisation. Our preference is to try and work with an organisation across the whole of their workforce and to be preventive rather than waiting until there's a particular problem. So we believe in the importance of health screening, providing a holistic approach to looking at men's health and what keeps them healthy, and providing diagnostics and surveys that the worker can undertake very easily and quickly, and get a very quick sense of how they're tracking. So health screening is a key aspect to our approach. So too is training and awareness, and ensuring that people are educated and aware around risk factors and protective factors in mental health. And we also offer some similar courses to the ones that have already been mentioned by mates in construction. But we have a very, very strong emphasis on education and awareness, informing the workforce and the worker from top to bottom around what are the sorts of things to be aware of from a risk perspective, and what are the protective factors and things you can do, first of all, to keep yourself healthy and strong and well, but also the things you can do to look out for your mates and your co-workers, and be of support to others when that's in need. So we focus on health screening, we focus on education, training and awareness. We also focus on supports and ensuring that men in particular have got access to networks and supports to enable them to seek help. And we're really conscious that in most of the places where we work, the culture and the environment, and if you think about construction sites, and if you think about mine sites, and you think about the culture of truck drivers and police and emergency services and those sorts of industries and professions, they are typically the sorts of industries and professions where it's not talked about. If someone's not doing okay from an emotional health and well-being perspective, we typically don't talk about it. And we know that men generally are not as good at opening up and talking about these things if they're not doing okay. And hence whole campaigns like the Are You OK campaign have been launched nationally, and we're all aware of those messages and the importance of the messages that go with Are You OK? And so OzHelp, as well, is a very strong advocate of messaging around overcoming stigma, overcoming these sorts of blockers around seeking help if you need it, but also being able to reach out and provide help to colleagues, friends and co-workers when they need it. OzHelp has been working in what we describe as high risk and hard to reach industries, and they include construction and mining and transport now for close to 20 years. We work in those industries because they have the highest need with respect to providing mental health services and support and suicide awareness training, particularly to male-dominated workforces. And I guess we've learned a lot over the years about what works. And so if I circle back, Glenn, you know, I want to try and leave our audience today with just 4 or 5 practical messages and tips that you can apply as an individual, whether you're a worker, you're a supervisor, or you're just thinking of yourself as a friend and colleague. Things that people can take away and practice in their own lives and in their workplaces. First of all, positive relationships. I asked that question, how important are they to men's health and well-being? Well, we know, and the research proves very, very strongly that there's a strong correlation between men who have positive relationships with their partner, with their family, with their children, and with their friends. A very strong correlation between those men having those positive relationships and being healthier and happier. And when I talk about friends, I don't mean, and I know this is screening on Facebook, but I don't mean just Facebook friends. I mean real friends, people that you can talk to and that you can get on the phone to, or you can go for a walk or play golf with, or you know, have a beer with, or whatever the occasion may be. But real friends who you can share and you know will have your back in circumstances where you may need help or when you can support them. So that first point of positive relationships we know is very, very important to men in terms of their health and well-being. The second point I want to make is around work. And we also know that men who are employed, gainfully employed, feeling a sense of being valued and making a contribution and being useful, again, there's a direct correlation there with healthier and happier. I don't just limit that to paid employment, but men who are involved in volunteer activities and other ways of supporting their community, again, tend to be healthier and happier. And that can manifest itself in all shapes. And, you know, typically it occurs when social distancing restrictions allow, on a Saturday morning, you know, with at the soccer field or the swimming pool or athletics or whatever the case may be, often in support of children's sporting activities. So I mentioned the importance of work, but also other volunteering activities. And I guess at a time like today, when we know that so many across the nation have been affected by, and I'm talking about the economic impact now of the pandemic, and many people have lost jobs as a result of COVID. Many people have had reduced hours. They may be working less now than they were. So again, we reinforce the importance that for those who are on reduced hours or have lost employment during this time, I guess our advice to you would be, this is an opportunity to look for new opportunities and to look to upskill, cross-skill, retrain yourself if that's what you need to do, but to look for those opportunities again to get yourself back into employment and opportunities where you can serve and give back. Very important, we know, for men's health, not to sit on the couch and, you know, feel sorry for yourself, but to get out there and be active and try and re-engage. So that's I guess the second point is around work. The third is around activity and exercise. Again, we know how important it is both for our physical health, but also our mental health, to keep moving through life. And this is not a sermon to people to say, you know, you must do 30 minutes, an hour of running or walking the dog or you know, whatever it is each day. But we do know that people, and particularly men who stay physically active, will improve their physical health and maintain their physical health, directly related to the production of positive hormones in the body system like serotonin. These things we know help combat depression and other mental health issues. So we really encourage our men to keep exercising, keep moving, and keep involved in those activities that you know, give you joy and give you happiness. And when we talk to men, I mean, that's not just sport and exercise. It could be, you know, it could be surfing. It could be music. It could be, you know, in the shed, you know, using their hands with tools with timber and metal. So whatever those activities are that engage you and keep you healthy and happy, we really encourage men to continue to activate those and participate in those activities. The fourth point is around sleep and with that, nutrition and diet. And again, Carolyn mentioned that earlier, but again, we know there's a direct correlation between sleep and nutrition and mental health. We know that a lack of sleep or sleep deprivation over time contributes to depression and is one of those factors that is strongly correlated with suicide. So again, the importance of sleep, and if you're not sleeping well, to get some help around that. And we recommend the first place to go is to talk to your GP if you're struggling and you're not sleeping well, as the first port of call to get help around that. That's the fourth point. And the last point is around seeking help and giving help. And OzHelp very strongly supportive of the Are You OK message. Much of the work we do with across industries is around encouraging, reaching out and seeking support. Our wellbeing support team are very, they're terrific at taking that role and providing an open door to those who want to have a chat. That often occurs post our training and awareness workshops. It can be sort of afterwards, immediately afterwards, or it can be a day or two or a week or a month later. And I think it's that open door that we've got that makes a difference. And the fact that the OzHelp team typically comes from outside of the company structure. And so we don't report back to management. We don't report back to your supervisors about any conversation that we've had with you, which is very much maintained in strict confidentiality and with your privacy in mind. But I make the point there not as a pitch about OzHelp, but really as a pitch about the importance of reaching out for help if you need it. And we need to enable workplaces across the country to remove the stigma associated with this sort of traditional cultural block that we've had, I think, in many facets of life in Australia for generations, really, around sort of stoicism. And, you know, we deal with these problems, you know, we're tough and we deal with these problems ourselves. But enabling and acknowledging really that it is that from time to time in people's lives, everyone will struggle with the different challenges and issues that come up in life. And you know, we've had a few major kind of national and international challenges to deal with recently. You know, we started 2020 in Australia with the bushfires in southeastern Australia, which affected, you know, many communities. The smoke that affected, again, many communities, including mine here in Canberra. You know, the worst bushfires we'd ever seen. Very soon on the back of that was the COVID pandemic, and then the commencement of shutdown of public spaces and events, and transitioning people to work from home. So, and now the flow through economic effects of that. So we've had, you know, these environmental factors to deal with as a society this year. And it's been, you know, a very tough environment for all, really. So I guess my final, you know, it's a call out to all to just be aware that we've not been working and living and operating in normal times over the last, you know, 4, 5, 6 months. They've really been abnormal times. And in these sorts of times is when we need to be more sensitive and alert than ever about, you know, are you okay as an individual? Are your family okay around you, and your friends and colleagues at work? And being sensitive to what we can do to stay healthy and well ourselves. And I've mentioned those 5 tips today, which we know from years and years of research and work, they work. But also being conscious to what can you do to support your people and your teams. And there's a few practical tips today, Glenn, very much consistent with the OzHelp approach, very much based in you know, scientific research and the evidence that we know about practical tools and tips that work. Like Mates in Construction, we're an organisation that is here to support and strengthen mental health and reduce the risk of suicide, particularly across those male-dominated industries that I've spoken about today.
That's fantastic, Darren. A really powerful message there about the challenges we're all facing and have been facing in these past few months, which, as you quite rightly say, are unusual, not normal, extraordinary times. However, the messages about what keeps men healthy, the principles about what keeps us all healthy, remain the same. They're just more important than ever before at these tough times, right?
Absolutely.
And will be, I'm sure, for many months and years to come as we continue to deal with the impacts of bushfire, drought, the lockdown, the impact on the economy, and so on and so forth. And it's a good reminder that, you know, during this Men's Health Week, that men's health, of course, being healthy is about not smoking and drinking less and eating better and exercising and all those things that we all know we should do, and some of us do a better job of doing them and not doing them than others at different times. I know personally, Darren, probably the unhealthiest week of the year for me is Men's Health Week, because we're so busy that those little things that keep me healthy go out of the window. So I have to work extra hard the other 51 weeks of the year. But men's health is not just about telling people what to eat and to exercise and what not to do. It's about building that awareness and that knowledge of those other important things that keep us healthy: the relationships, the value of work and having a purpose, the ability to get help and seek help, and all those 5 core principles that you shared. So it's really great you've come and reminded us of that. And thank you for you and your team across Australia, who is doing fantastic work, taking those principles and those messages out into different workplaces, even some really remote and difficult to reach workplaces, such as the ranches and stuff out in the Northern Territory, which I know you've been targeting in recent years, and making this stuff accessible to blokes in particular in places where we know it works to reach blokes where they already are at work, and speak in their language and deliver tools and tips in a way that they can access.
Yeah, absolutely, Glenn. And look, I mean, I guess the final message would be, we don't exist in isolation. We need to think that we're part of community, we're part of workplaces, we're part of society. How do we stay connected and supportive of each other during, difficult times? I mean, OzHelp, we love this work that we do, and I'm going to give a call out to the male-friendly health principles that the Men's Health Forum has developed and released recently, and just a couple of those that we really, really strongly advocate for. Targeting men directly, meeting men where they are, taking the service to where they are. And for us, that can be a construction site or a mine site or a remote cattle property. But we've realised how important it is to take the service to where they are. Helping people get help and give help, helping men help themselves, and working with strengths, bringing this back to a strengths-based approach. What is it that keeps you happy and healthy? And we don't prescribe to people, you must do these things, but thinking about, in your life, well, when things are going well for you, what does that look like? And repeating those good, healthy habits that we know keep us happy and healthy.
That's fantastic, Darren. Thank you for your time today. I know you and your team are always very busy, so for you to make time and come and share some of your experience with us and share it with the blokes and all the people and families and communities, not just watching live, but the magic of social media means that people will be watching us in an hour or a day or even a year's time. As long as those of you watching right now keep liking and sharing and passing on this message, so it can reach more men in their homes, in their workplaces, in their communities. So I'll say goodbye, Darren. Thanks for joining us,